Imagine a mind restless amidst the chaos of the world, a mind that shies away from the bustling parties, the endless small talk, the hollow laughter that fills every crowded room. Why do so many of the smartest people you know seem to avoid the very social life that others crave? They don't simply dislike crowds or suffer from awkwardness. No, their withdrawal runs deeper. It is a silent rebellion. To the outside world, it may look like loneliness, or worse, indifference. But for these individuals, it is a deliberate choice, a refuge from a society that often feels shallow, noisy, and exhausting. This is not social awkwardness. It is a quiet defiance against the meaningless rituals of social life. It is a conscious turning away from the superficial masks worn by many. And it is a painful loneliness, a loneliness born not from lack of desire for connection, but from a refusal to settle for anything less than profound truth. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once claimed that most human interaction is governed not by genuine connection, but by the blind, restless will, an endless striving for status, appearances, and fleeting pleasure. He understood, perhaps better than anyone, why the sharpest minds might reject the frantic noise of social life. But what if this rejection is more than just personal preference? What if it reveals a deeper truth about human nature, society, and the price of intellectual clarity in a world obsessed with conformity? Why do intelligent minds seem burdened by the very world they inhabit, constantly torn between the hunger for authentic connection and the overwhelming fatigue of shallow social performance? Tonight, we journey into that silent rebellion. We unravel the philosophy, the psychology, and the lived experience behind why so many smart people choose solitude over social life and what it reveals about us all. In the annals of philosophy, few figures embody the paradox of intellectual brilliance and profound isolation quite like Arthur Schopenhauer. Born in 1788 in Danzig, a turbulent time of revolution and upheaval, Schopenhauer was a man deeply out of step with his era, a loner, a skeptic, and above all, a relentless thinker who saw through the illusions of society. He was no stranger to solitude. His early life was marked by personal tragedy, the death of his mother, a prominent writer when he was only 17, and an uneasy relationship with his father. But rather than retreat from the world out of weakness, Schopenhauer's withdrawal was a deliberate, even defiant act. He rejected the glittering salons and social theatrics of his time, those swirling balls of vanity and small talk. To Schopenhauer, the conventions of polite society were masks, facades that concealed a darker reality. Behind the laughter, the polite conversation, the relentless pursuit of status, he saw what few dared to admit, a world driven by blind, insatiable desire. His philosophy was unflinching and brutally honest. He taught that beneath the surface of human behavior lies the will, an irrational blind force that drives every desire, every craving, every ambition. The will is insatiable, a source of endless suffering. Social life, with its endless competition and performance, is merely one expression of this ceaseless striving. This relentless will, the root of human pain, creates a world where true happiness is fleeting and genuine connection rare. Thus, Schopenhauer's withdrawal from society was more than personal preference. It was a philosophical stance. He chose isolation not because he feared others, but because he understood the dangers of succumbing to the will's demands. He saw social gatherings as arenas where the will runs wild, where ego, envy, and superficiality reign. His famous disdain for the herd mentality, the masses blindly following social norms, fueled his desire to remain apart. Yet, his contemporaries misunderstood him. Rejected by many, ignored by the mainstream academic world, Schopenhauer lived much of his life in obscurity, a misunderstood intellectual who dared to swim against the current. But it is in this solitude, this deliberate detachment, that he found clarity. He argued that only by distancing oneself from the endless desires and illusions of society can one glimpse a deeper truth, a quiet space where suffering can be lessened and the mind can find respite. His life was a testament to the tension between the need for human connection and the necessity of intellectual solitude. His magnum opus, The World as Will and Representation, remains a haunting exploration of the human condition, a call to awaken from social illusions. For Schopenhauer, the intelligent mind is inevitably alienated because it sees the machinery of desire and pretense beneath the surface. It recoils from it, unable to fully engage without compromising its clarity. To understand why many smart people retreat from social life, we must first understand Schopenhauer's lonely path, a path shaped by a radical philosophy of isolation and profound skepticism toward the world. It is here, in the shadow of his thoughts, that we begin to uncover the psychology behind the silent rebellion of the intelligent mind. Why do some of the brightest minds choose silence over noise? Why does the very intelligence that fuels creativity and insight often seem to repel the desire for social life? This isn't just a cliché about introverts or social awkwardness. This is a psychological paradox where intelligence and loneliness become intertwined. For many highly intelligent people, social interactions aren't simply exhausting. They can feel overwhelming, even unbearable. This stems from a phenomenon psychologists call cognitive overload, a flood of stimuli, emotions, and distractions that strain the mind's capacity. Imagine trying to navigate a storm of endless small talk, shallow exchanges, and performative social rituals, while your mind craves depth, clarity, and meaning. The gap between what is said and what is felt becomes a canyon too wide to bridge. Social withdrawal in intelligent individuals often emerges as a protective response. It's a way to conserve precious mental energy, to retreat into spaces where authentic thought and reflection can flourish. Modern psychology has studied this extensively. A study published in the Journal of Personality found that people with higher IQs tend to experience greater social fatigue, a kind of mental exhaustion triggered by superficial social demands. They often find small talk tedious and unfulfilling. Highly intelligent individuals typically seek meaningful conversations and authentic connections. When social interactions fail to meet this standard, it can lead to feelings of isolation and disinterest. This intolerance for superficiality is not arrogance, it's a deep craving for substance. In a world that prizes popularity and pleasantries, the intelligent mind can feel alienated. Many of history's great thinkers were known for their solitude and social detachment. Introversion, a personality trait linked to inward focus and reflection, is common among highly intelligent people. It's not simply a preference for quiet, it's a fundamental way their brains process the world. Introverted brains process sensory information more deeply. They become easily overstimulated by crowds, noise, and social drama. This can trigger social anxiety, not fear of people, but a heightened sensitivity to social complexities. Social anxiety and sensitivity can magnify the exhaustion that comes with typical social demands. The pressure to perform, to fit in, to engage in trivial banter becomes a relentless drain, but intelligence adds another layer. It sharpens awareness of hypocrisy, of empty words, of performative behavior. It creates a powerful intolerance of social pretense. Why waste precious time on empty interactions when the mind longs for genuine understanding? Instead, the intelligent seek spaces where ideas flow freely, where conversation challenges rather than exhausts. This paradox, craving connection yet withdrawing from social life, can create loneliness. Loneliness itself can be painful, but for many, it's a trade-off worth making, because superficial social life often feels like a cage. In today's digital age, this phenomenon intensifies. Social media amplifies the noise and superficiality. For intelligent minds, navigating this endless stream of information and shallow interactions can deepen feelings of alienation. Yet withdrawal is not always rejection. It can be a search for authentic belonging, for meaningful connection, for peace. Psychologists call this the paradox of solitude, a simultaneous need to connect and protect oneself from draining social environments. Solitude, then, is a sanctuary, a place where the intelligent can recharge, reflect, and cultivate insight. It is not simply about avoiding people, it's about preserving the integrity of the mind. To understand why smart people don't care about social life is to see beyond the surface, to recognize a profound psychological truth. It is a story of minds fighting to remain unclouded in a world overflowing with noise, a story of seeking light in the silence. What if everything you thought was genuine in social life is just an act? What if every handshake, every smile, every casual conversation is a carefully choreographed performance, a mask hiding something far darker? Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once warned us, social interaction is less about authentic connection and more about a complex game of deception. Behind every mask lies intention, not all of it conscious, but powerfully real. Human beings are creatures of appearance. From the moment we wake, we play roles dictated by society: the friend, the colleague, the lover, the obedient citizen. But these roles are masks, often worn to manipulate, to conform, to survive. For the intelligent mind, this masquerade can be suffocating. The need to perform, to hide true thoughts, to mimic expected behaviors, clashes violently with the desire for authenticity. Social life is a theater of the absurd, where true selves are often sacrificed on the altar of acceptance. It's a stage dominated by manipulation, subtle and overt. Power is brokered not only through wealth or status, but through social dynamics that keep individuals in line. This leads us to the phenomenon of herd mentality, an invisible force that sweeps through groups, blurring individual thought, replacing it with collective opinion. It is the engine behind groupthink, social pressure, and mass conformity. In such environments, dissent is not only discouraged, it is dangerous. History is rife with examples of how herd mentality has led to catastrophic decisions, from political upheavals to cultural witch hunts. In these moments, the intelligent thinker becomes an outlier, a rebel. But why is this so threatening to intellectual freedom? Because true thought requires independence. It requires the courage to stand apart from the crowd, to question the narrative, to face isolation rather than false consensus. This is why many smart people reject social life, not out of disdain for humanity, but because the social theater demands they surrender their autonomy. To blend in means to silence critical thought. To participate fully is to risk being swept away by the tide. Today, this mask-wearing and herd mentality are amplified by technology. Social media platforms are the grand stages of this modern theater. They reward conformity and punish deviation. The intelligent mind feels the weight of this daily performance, the constant pressure to signal, to perform, to fit. It is no surprise then that many intelligent individuals withdraw, seeking refuge from a world that values masks over meaning. Their silence is a refusal to play a rigged game, but this rejection is not just withdrawal. It is a profound statement about the cost of social life. That cost is the erosion of authenticity, the sacrifice of intellectual freedom. In the theater of life, the masks we wear protect us, but they also imprison us. For the intelligent mind, breaking free means risking loneliness, alienation, even misunderstanding. It means choosing truth over comfort, authenticity over acceptance. And in this choice lies the silent rebellion of those who dare to see behind the curtain. We live in an era of unprecedented connection. Every second, billions of voices clamor for attention across the digital ether. Yet for many intelligent minds, this endless connectivity feels less like connection and more like suffocation. Social media promised to bring us closer, to bridge divides, to spark dialogue. Instead, it has amplified the noise. Endless opinions, shallow interactions, and fleeting trends flood our senses, drowning out depth, nuance, and meaning. For the deep thinker, the digital age is a battleground, a battlefield where every scroll, every click, every notification threatens to fragment focus and erode sanity. Arthur Schopenhauer's 19th century warnings about the will driving endless human desire now echo with new urgency. Today, that will is fueled by algorithms engineered to keep us engaged, addicted, distracted. The endless pursuit of likes and validation mirrors the ceaseless striving Schopenhauer described, but with a digital face. The will now manifests as the compulsive need to react, to post, to perform, but the result is intellectual alienation, a growing chasm between the noise of the crowd and the quiet spaces where true thought lives. Social media's architecture encourages division. It rewards outrage over understanding, spectacle over substance. This polarization pushes many intelligent individuals away from public discourse, not out of apathy, but as a means of self-preservation. This retreat is the modern manifestation of Schopenhauer's isolation, a protective shield against a toxic environment. The paradox is striking. At a time when we are more connected than ever, loneliness and alienation reach record levels. The intelligent mind, sensitive to the shallow, becomes further estranged, seeking refuge in silence, in solitude, or curated circles of genuine connection. But this retreat is not surrender. It is a reclaiming of intellectual freedom, a refusal to be consumed by the noise. Yet the stakes are high. The digital battlefield threatens not just individual sanity, but the collective capacity for critical thought. When the intelligent withdraw, the herd mentality tightens its grip. When voices of depth fall silent, superficiality gains ground. Understanding this modern landscape is crucial. It is a call to awareness, to recognize the cost of the connected life, to question the architecture of our digital world, and to seek paths back to meaningful engagement. For the intelligent, the journey continues, a journey through noise and silence, toward a future where connection is real, not performative, where thought is clear, not drowned, where the mind can breathe again. Solitude, a word that carries both promise and peril. For the intelligent mind, it is a refuge, but also a battleground. The choice to step away from the crowd is not merely about escape. It is a complex dance between gift and curse. In solitude, the mind finds space to breathe, to grow, to create. It is where ideas take shape, where clarity pierces through noise. Schopenhauer himself found in art and music a sanctuary from the relentless will, a way to momentarily transcend desire and suffering. These moments of deep contemplation offer a glimpse beyond the superficial performances demanded by society. They reveal the purest form of being, unfiltered, authentic. Yet solitude is not without its shadows. The very silence that nurtures creativity can breed loneliness. The withdrawal from social life often comes with emotional costs. There is a profound tension, the desire for connection, clashing with the need to protect the mind's integrity. Intellectual solitude is not a painless path. It demands resilience, self-awareness, and sometimes sacrifice. Schopenhauer understood this duality deeply. His philosophy did not romanticize loneliness. He acknowledged its hardships, but he also showed how by embracing solitude, the mind can resist the tyranny of blind desire. For many intelligent individuals, this means choosing meaningful solitude over shallow social acceptance. It means forging a unique path, one that honors the need for authenticity. In this solitude, true freedom is found, a freedom to think, to feel, to exist without masks. But it is a freedom that comes at a price. The gift of solitude is the clarity it brings. The curse is the loneliness it may impose. Yet for the intelligent mind, this delicate balance is a necessary journey. To navigate a world that often demands conformity, to find meaning beyond the crowd. And in that search, perhaps the greatest truth emerges, that solitude is not the absence of connection, but the presence of self. To be intellectually independent in a world that prizes conformity is an act of courage. It means standing apart from the crowd, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Because true thought demands space, space to question, to doubt, to unravel the carefully woven illusions of social life. Society rewards the extroverted, the agreeable, the socially skilled. But beneath the surface, those who choose solitude or curated connections walk a path of profound resilience. They navigate the tension between belonging and authenticity, a tightrope few dare to tread. This journey is not about rejection, it's about reclaiming agency, choosing the depth of intellectual freedom over the shallow comfort of social acceptance. It's about finding meaning beyond the noise. Whether you thrive in solitude or in carefully chosen companionship, the challenge remains the same: to live honestly, to resist the urge to conform, to embrace the silence when it offers clarity, and the connection when it offers truth. So, ask yourself, in a world of endless chatter, will you choose to speak your truth, or will you let the noise drown it out? The choice is yours. The rebellion is silent, but its impact echoes beyond the crowd.